All right. All right. So we had over 60 students join us over the last 2 days. Thank you to everybody who participated. You'll get to hear from our teams tonight. We had over 15, 20 faculty and administrators join us over the last 2 weeks to help us pull together problem statements and come up with all of the issues that their offices are dealing with for our students to be able to hack. So thank you to everybody who let me message them very last minute often at odd hours of the night to pester them for problem statements. And most of all, thank you so much to the over 15 member strong hackathon team who helped us out over the last 2 weeks to put together a very quick hackathon. Here are some of our amazing leaders. You'll get to hear from some of them throughout the night. And big thank you to Matt for getting this started on Slack. Who knew what a storm he would start? So thank you, Matt.
Yeah, thank you everyone for taking time out of your busy quarantine schedules, which I know are much busier for others than some, but we do really appreciate everyone putting their minds together to figure out how we can make fall 2020 the best it can be, no matter what kind of fall 2020 we get.
Yeah, I think above all, I think we were really touched by just how much everybody cares, and we really want to make it the best we can. So let's make lemonade. I would love to give 60 seconds to Dean Schmidtlein if he wants to say something before we start talking about or start our pitch night.
You bet. Thanks, Matt, and thanks, Rihanna. Really just quickly, I hope that we embrace the interesting ideas and the great work that's been done that we're going to hear tonight. If we keep one thing in mind, I would encourage us to keep in mind that right now, every idea is a good idea. Does that mean every idea is going to be implemented exactly as you hear it tonight? You know, maybe, but maybe not. But I think the thing that we need is a spirit of creativity. We need to understand what matters to you as students and how you think about the fall in ways that would be positive. You know that tonight is going to stimulate further thinking, and so we're going to build on the ideas here. And we're going to keep reaching out to some of the people who've been so generous with thoughts and ideas and have kind of revealed yourselves to be people willing to engage about the fall. And so, and I also am sure some ideas are going to be good to go. Thanks for all of it.
Thank you.
Sorry, thank you, Dean Schmidtlein, and thank you for playing guitar for us as well in our promo video. We also like to take a moment to thank our admin and faculty partners. Rihanna, do you mind if we go back a slide for a sec?
The screen is laggy.
No worries. Just want to take a moment to a big shout out to our admin and faculty partners, both who contributed beforehand and who are in attendance tonight. It really takes a village to raise a new fall 2020. So we just want to highlight those who are on the call tonight. We really appreciate your effort, collaboration, your positive attitudes, and we really look forward to sharing our thoughts with you this evening and working with you over the next coming weeks and months.
All right, so with that, we're going to run a very tight ship tonight. We have things at about minutes. So actually going to go the other judging and this are going is that judging not this, but they will be the ones asking questions throughout this because a lot of their offices will be involved in are going to be internet is unable. Sorry, a lot of these folks are going to be in helping us actually implement it. And at the end, you'll have an opportunity to vote for your favorite ideas. So be sure that you're keeping notes as you're watching these pitches. Without further ado, we've got team one.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. We are Pooja, Gideon, Chris, Raphael, Mega. Our group is set out to address the problem of decentralized and unconsolidated breadth of resources, which makes it difficult to find information, collaborate, and organize work efficiently. Our solution is called One Dashboard. One Dashboard is for all Sloanies. Here's how it works. We identify what tools Sloanies use on a regular basis and created a platform that houses all these tools. Sloanies log into One Dashboard, drag and drop to build a personalized dashboard to have access to their calendar, Slack workspaces, deliverables for the day, class, Zoom meetings, links, class updates, Canvas, My Sloan events, Sloan groups, CDO recruitment events, links to email announcements, newsletters, etc. One Dashboard is awesome because it is personalized, and a single dashboard, Sloanies have full control of what resources they personalize on the dashboard. We will leverage existing My Sloan platform and IS&T resources and take advantage of this summer to get the MVP ready by August. You should vote for our idea because students have already wanted this. One Dashboard helps all Sloanies better plan, collaborate, and get organized for significantly increased productivity and efficiency. One Dashboard will generate long-term value in enhancing group work experiences and learning, even post-COVID-19. Thank you for your attention. My team and I are ready to take any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gideon. If our panel of judges wants to just unmute themselves in order to ask questions, please go ahead and do that. I think Dean Schmidtline has a question. Can you unmute, or you'll have to unmute yourself.
Now I'm unmuted. So first of all, I love this idea. If you would build it, I would buy it. But I guess we're going to have to build it. I hope that you can, if there's a question or comment, it would be, are the logos that are shown here the full set of what would be good to include in this dashboard? Because I think if we could scope the project, it would be really, really great. If the more detail we can scope the project, the better. That's maybe half a question, half a comment.
Thank you, great question. Yes, just like you've said, this is all the resources that we hope to be able to put on one dashboard. Slack, calendars, Canvas, all the MIT-wide resources, your emails and all that. So we just want to be able to have one place to integrate all this and make it available for all. It makes it very easy to have access to all the resources. Thank you.
And faculty could have access too, right?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I'm sorry. So faculty could have access too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, even deans. Could a dean have access?
Oh yes, dean is welcome to have access.
Okay.
Of course, you should have access.
I love this idea.
It's personalized, that so you can control, because of privacy issues, you can control whatever you want there. So if you don't want your email there, your Outlook, they're fine. So whatever you want, you customize, drag and drop on the dashboard, and you're ready to go.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Well, we are going to move on to team 2.
Hi, everyone. My name is Laura, and I'm going to be presenting Team 2's idea to help all types of Sloanies feel included socially while online and help them find their groups. Our idea is called Baseball Cards for Speed Dating. So the idea is that every Sloan student would be able to fill out a brief profile or a baseball card about themselves with fun and quick information on what their interests are, what they're trying to get socially while they're at Sloan, to help match them quickly with comparable other people, to be able to set up a speed dating type interaction online, to be able to connect Sloanies and help them find their group. The reason why is that it makes it easier for students to get connected, And it would be especially applicable for first-year students as a fun way to really quickly onboard and help them find their space when you don't have that E62 run into people environment. And if we could hop to the next slide. Some kind of key things we want to think about with this is that there are online platforms that do matching for people really well already. Dating apps are the kind of the benchmark. And so looking to a kind of friend matching elements of apps like Bumble BFF, where you're just looking to make friends, could be an interesting application for helping Sloanies find their other Sloanies. And be happy to take questions.
Hi, this is Tara. I love this idea. I think that you know, you're right on target in the fall. You know, we are going to definitely see a different cadence to campus, and people will be probably meeting up somewhat on campus, but a lot of times off campus in different settings. And I really feel like this is a great way to kind of break the ice and to build community amongst a group of students that have not met each other before, nor any of you. And so finding those singular connections, even if it's a favorite movie or a favorite book or something like that, just to spark a conversation is great. Kudos.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, ideas?
Professor Verity, I don't think you're on, I don't think you're muted, or maybe your audio is not connected. Oh, we can't hear you.
Hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Now.
Yes. Yeah, so I'll make a comment. So this idea, I like this idea too, but it made me think of the kind of cards that we used to have, at least as a faculty, we get in the beginning every time. So for the first question I have is, how is these cards being used among the students? And the second is a suggestion. Can we make this more of a dynamic? If it's going to be in something online format, then it doesn't have to be when you start, but it's something that evolves over time.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. I think we definitely saw this as an online platform, so something that could be changed, and not necessarily for new members of the community, but for all members, but particularly for those new first interactions for new members of the community too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Team 2. We're gonna keep moving. Amazing. Thank you. Great idea. All right, we've got Team 3 on deck. I think Stephen is presenting from this group.
Yep, awesome. Thank you. So hi, everyone. My name is Steve Ferry. I am joined virtually by my teammates, Jesus, Ada, and Ken. Our group set out to solve the virtual fatigue problem that we're all facing and to encourage students to practice self-care and to engage a bit better within the Sloan community. Our solution is called Sloan Experiences. Sloan Experiences is primarily targeted at Sloanies, but is something that we could potentially open up to the broader MIT community. In terms of how it works, it's pretty simple. So students volunteer to host a virtual event where they will lead some sort of discussion on something that is really special to them. This could be something about the culture, teaching a skill like how to make sushi, or leading a meditation or workout. Think of it as sort of a mix between master classes, our cultural AMAs that are super popular, podcasts, and fireside chats. We see it working a lot like the charity night auction, where there was some sort of Google Sheet where people and hosts were posting sessions that students could sign up for, and then the signups would follow that, obviously. Finally, our idea is to leave the details to the host so that they can do things like limiting the size of the event if they want it to be a real intimate discussion, or maybe even recording an audio recording so students can listen to it while they're maybe outside on the walk and not have the burden of being on camera for the traditional Zoom session. In terms of why we think it's awesome and will really be a strong addition to the program is you really get introduced to new things while learning about new opportunities and also learning unique things about your classmates, which are always really cool to do and difficult to do in the virtual setting. Because it's small groups mainly, you'll also get to meet and interact with new people and old friends that you maybe haven't seen since campus is gone virtual. And I think the last thing, which is the most exciting, is because the host is having the ability and power to plan the event, we expect to have a massive variety in content, both in terms of the subject matter, but also the type of it. For example, one session could be a 15-minute guided meditation, while another could be an immersive discussion into a student's background and really what makes them special. And finally, you could have one on a 3-minute video on how to brew the best coffee while you're in quarantine. We think you should vote for IDEA because it gives an alternative to the monotonous Zoom happy hours that we've all come to like but secretly hate. It also introduces you to new consumable content and new ideas and new people. So with that, we'll open to questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Team 3. Would love to hear questions.
I think Dean Cohen has a question for the group.
Yes, hi. So I love this idea. I think it's very interesting. I like the example like masterclass. I seem to be watching a lot of those sessions now. And the backgrounds that many of our Sloanies bring in would make for great master classes in different topics. One area I would add to it is maybe around careers. So if we think about this, also showcasing some careers and where people come from in terms of backgrounds, that could be very helpful too.
Yep, that's actually something we discussed. Our initial feeling was to keep it more fun and lighthearted because we're focusing on the communal engagement and less fatigue, but that's something that I think would add a ton of value going forward.
All right, awesome. Next up, thank you, Steve. All right, next up, we've got Team 4, and I believe Jenna was presenting for this group.
Yeah, I'll be presenting. Hi all, my name is Jenna, and along with several others, we wanted to talk to you about how we can improve Sloan for fall of 2020. So we want to take a career focus on Sloan, and we have one proposal, which is to have one centralized view of all the career paths that are available to students. So think back to when first years, when we all came in last year, we were given a 100-page Google Doc that talked about everything Sloan, from housing to commuting to international paperwork, you name it. If we can consolidate all the information on careers into one doc, whether it's on Airtable or Google Docs, that would help people know what paths they're not aware of. That would help both interns as well as folks that are recruiting for full-time, especially given the current climate. Just because you fail to sign up for one club should not mean you fall behind in not knowing another career path that's out there. So I think the information is already available. It's just spread out, and you do not want to miss out on opportunity just because you didn't know what you didn't know. So in terms of how we would execute, we would want one person from CDO to help run point, but the actual information already lies within the separate clubs, whether it's tech, fintech, PM clubs. So you'd work with the leadership of each club to help consolidate this one document that would be updated once a year. So just like an intro to Sloan, this would serve as an intro to career paths that both first years and second years can then use. So we figured doing this once a year will help keep it up to date, but at the same time, give people a flavor for the different offerings that they can go into in terms of careers, and then they can sign up for clubs or dig deeper accordingly. Any questions? Happy to answer.
Can I make a comment? I love this. And the CDO would be happy to work on this with you all. So it's a great idea. So no questions, just a comment.
Thank you.
I think Dean Schmidtlein raised his hand.
Yeah, I love it too. And a small, maybe friendly amendment. I think if it was done right, I wonder if it might have value for alumni also, and maybe be one of the ways that students and alums could interact a bit more. There are alums who find themselves in periods of transition, and sometimes it would be good for them to look more broadly than they sometimes do. And I think this could be valuable for that too. So thanks for thinking of it.
Good suggestion.
Amazing. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Team 4.
Move on to Team 5.
We've got Jacob from Team 5.
Yes, thank you. I'm Jacob Fury, representing Team 5, and we focused on facilitating informal communities at Sloan. If we get the slide. What we came up with is the E62 Virtual Cafe. So one of the things that we really missed during H4 was crossing paths with new people informally, and having chance encounters with peers, faculty members, TAs that we otherwise wouldn't have had the chance to stumble across. When we don't have these, we find we grow far less. So right now, we actually already have all the technology we need in order to connect, but we don't know who to connect with. We often don't know who to go to socially, academically, or by interest because we don't have a way to find them. The E62 Cafe always provided a physical space to go to 24/7. The same thing is what the E62 Virtual Cafe does. It provides a hub with Zoom rooms that simulate the ever-presence and convenience of bumping into friends. So as you can see in the graph or the chart on the side, it breaks out into rooms and those branch into subrooms. So if you are working on something academic, we'll go down one of those paths for the sake of time. Consider the managerial finance classroom. A student who is working on managerial finance could at any time drop into the managerial finance room. On the formal side, TAs would host their office hours in these rooms in order to drive usership of the rooms. And then informally, students could drop in at any time to work on homework. So sometimes these rooms might be completely empty, but they're always available and always open. And when they are open and a P-set is due the next day, it might just fill up. And students who are realizing that problem 2C on the problem set is really challenging can generate a breakout room. Everyone's going to be co-hosts inside of this system. So they can make a breakout room, label it problem 2C, and then someone else who joins the room later can join problem 2C breakout room. Similarly, club leaders and social chairs will provide the same formal scheduled support to their rooms in their categories, while also allowing the spaces to informally exist at all their times. So you can bump into anyone, anywhere, at any time. So it will take some work to implement, even though the technology does exist. It will require to build out some tools to allow for visibility of what rooms are available, what rooms are populated, what rooms are empty, and who's in them. Beyond that, the technology does exist already. But more than anything else, the virtual cafe system needs support from teaching teams and buy-in from administration. Otherwise, it could end up just collecting dust on the shelf. If we don't have the formal elements to bring students in and drive usership, I fear it would just be another platform where people don't connect. Everyone should be included in the MIT Sloan experience, and recreating the physical space with a 24/7 E62 Cafe is very important to me and the rest of Team 5. Students should know where they can go regardless of time zone and not rely on prior scheduling to get there. Thank you very much, and I hope I can answer some questions as well.
Awesome. Ezra, do you want to unmute yourself and provide your commentary?
Yeah, so I think this is really awesome. I think a lot of promise here, and I'm thinking of some research platforms actually that put this stuff together. And years ago, I'm not sure if it's still in use, but Exec Ed had sort of an avatar framework where you could sort of do something like this. The one challenge that seems to me is one of the things about a cafe is that you could go there even when no one is there and have an excuse for being there and have something to do, right? And that then provides, then other people might join you and run into you and interact, but it's not embarrassing or difficult or weird to be there by yourself. And so I wonder if there's something to draw, you know, in my experience of Zoom rooms, if you're not there, is it's like basically you're in the void or something, right? And so is there something that we could do to like make it so that it's okay or even enjoyable? And that's a little bit why I think of the avatars. Like you could have little, you know, there might be games to play or something while you're in there that is not an unreasonable thing for, yeah, exactly, like Sims, something like that. Anyway, that's my question. Yeah,
that's a really creative idea to provide some entertainment value to keep people going, like the games they have at coffee shops on the table if you're sitting alone. It's a great physical analog. Another thing that we do want to use here, and I discussed it with the breakout rooms, of actually being able to label what's happening in the room, updating the status of each room so people know what's happening inside of a space currently. That way they know the person who's waiting, sure, they're playing a game right now, which I think is a great idea, but what they're looking to do is talk about X, Y, or Z, which is a great conversation starter if you're thinking about jumping into a room.
Donna, would you like to add your comment?
I would. So I too love this idea and would actually like to think about expanding it to somehow invite prospects as well to join the cafe. From an admission standpoint, we would often tell people, like many of yourselves, go down to the cafeteria and just sit there and talk to people and engage with people. And if we could expand this to be comfortable inviting prospects to go to the virtual cafe, that would be amazing.
I love that. I absolutely love it.
Awesome. Great commentary. We're going to move on to the next team, keep things rolling, but thanks for the great ideas so far, everyone, and loving all the great activities and positivity in the chat as well.
Great. We've got Hardy next with Team 6.
Thanks very much. Hi, everyone. I'm Hardy. I worked with Christian and Stella, led by our fearless leader, Natty. The problem we set out to solve was how to build a unified MBA community across online and in-person cohorts during core semester for the incoming class. Our solution is called No Sloanie Left Behind. What is it? It's essentially a student mentorship program that supplements the ongoing Sloan Core Fellows program. It allows second years to pass along the Sloan culture to incoming students, ensuring that they make it through core without being left behind, but also fostering long-lasting relationships across the 2 grad classes. How does it work? First, we'll poll second year students to see who's interested in opting in and volunteering. Second, once we have those volunteers, we would match them ideally with 1 to 3 students from the incoming class per volunteer. We would base these matches on either core teams or geographic locations. And then once matches are made, we would promote ongoing connections, soliciting feedback throughout the semester. Why do we think it's a great idea? Well, it'll have a significant impact on first year students from our perspective, and it'll build those lasting connections throughout Sloan. It's easy, it's inexpensive, and when we thought about it, whether we're online or in person in the fall, we just think that this makes sense. So thanks very much. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, this is Dave. Can I just jump in to say, I really think if this isn't what we need something like it. And so I just want to say thank you for bringing this need front and center. And, you know, please keep, you know, working on the details because it's what we need.
Thanks very much.
Professor Verdi? Oh, and Tara.
Yeah. Actually, I had a talk here. Like, so this is this works from second years to first years, but can we think of a cross cohort first years to first years? Could that be done with like a cohort being a pair with somebody in another cohort and exchange ideas? It could be online to on campus, but it doesn't need to be necessarily.
I think absolutely. From our perspective, we felt like focusing on the core semester, it's hard as an incoming student to understand what the Sloan culture is about, especially if it's virtual. So you need that person who's already been through it to pull you along. I think the first year to first year idea is great as well. I wonder if that would be kind of a next step once they've already experienced the culture.
Yeah, it's more of a buddy as opposed to a mentor. But.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Thank you.
Dawn, would you like to make it super quick, Chris?
Yes, perfect. So Hardy, I love these ideas, and I think trying to do it across programs as well, because I'm just wondering how this might be different than some of the core fellows who are partnered up with core teams already and trying to teach them about traditions and mentor them on, you know, things that are happening within the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we discussed that. I think it's a tough burden on Sloan Fellows to make sure that everybody is that no one's falling behind just because of the ratio. So I think this supplementing it just ensures that each person has somebody they can go to and access throughout the semester if the core fellow is busy, essentially.
Awesome, great ideas. We are going to move on to the next team.
Okay, Roxanne?
Yeah, so I was working on the team thinking about academics, and we called our solution Fueling the Fire for our classroom discussions. So we kind of thought about all the different elements we can incorporate in class to better facilitate engagement and really allow for higher quality discussions. So I'll talk through some of the things we thought about for adding before, during, as well as after class. So elements we want to add before class are having discussion questions ahead of time so students can prepare, having pre-class surveys where students can share their thoughts as well as any relevant real-world experience they have, so these things can drive the class discussions, and also better fostering like healthy debates we can have in class. So maybe pre-assigning people to different viewpoints and making sure that these discussions are brought up during class. For elements we want to add during class, a big one that we're excited about is having icebreakers for the first 5 minutes of every class. And basically people would get into randomly assigned breakout rooms and for 5 minutes discuss fun questions or brain teasers. And the idea is building these informal relationships just makes people more comfortable speaking up in the blended environment for classes in the fall. And then another idea we had is for classes that aren't group project based, having assigned discussion groups where you continue to see the same group for breakout rooms, which again helps facilitate those stronger relationships that we get in person. And then finally, for some of the things that we want to incorporate to after class is kind of following up and having surveys where students can share any changed viewpoints that they have, and also having a centralized Slack channel for every class. And this is a way where students across all different time zones can kind of continue discussing elements related to the class. So a lot of different ideas, but I think most of them are pretty easy to implement given the current technology we have. Now, happy to answer any questions.
Tara?
This is great. I think this is exactly what you need, and you hit on something that we have heard from faculty, and that is, having a strong sense of community really does enhance classroom discussion. And so I think this is a great idea. One question I have is, how do you envision this playing out in a room where there are some people kind of in a classroom and some people online? You mentioned like the icebreakers, people would go off and go into breakout rooms or something. How would that happen in class? Would people get into small groups, or would it not happen in class?
Yeah, so we talked a lot about like how to form groups when people are in person and online. Part of it, like we want at baseline to have technology that basically makes sure that like people online and in person can like see and hear everyone. And then beyond that, I think the easy answer would be to like group together people who are in person and those who are online. But ideally, we'd even like to mix that. Because if people are bringing their laptops in person, then they can dial into Zoom and talk to people who are watching class remotely. But the idea is that all of these would involve everyone, regardless of whether they're virtual or in person.
Great, thank you.
All right. Also, if you guys are, if judges are raising their hand, literally I can only see some judges on my screen, so just a heads up. So feel free to unmute and ask your question. Amazing. We're going to move next team. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, Team 7. All right. I can't remember who was going to present for this group, but Team 8.
Yeah, that's me. Hi, everyone. My name is Steve, and I worked with Stephanie, Maggie, Emily, and Carlos to tackle the challenge of fostering a social community for Sloan cohorts, such as oceans and academic programs. Our solution is called the Sloan Social Snowball and is targeted towards first-year Sloanies with involvement of all other Sloanies. You can go to the next slide. Our goal with the Snowball program is to pass on Sloan events and traditions to the incoming class and build new connections across Sloan despite the challenging circumstances of fall 2020. We seek to create a more intentional fall program of social events that will help incoming Sloanies live a virtual fall social life across core teams, oceans, and academic programs. Like any good snowball rolling down a hill in New England, the Sloan Social Snowball program is intended to build over the course of the fall semester, expanding the scope of attendees and level of engagement and resources for a given event. As you can see in our slick infographic here, social events can be staged in such a way to simulate exploring Sloan in person, leading to this snowball effect of social connections across the school until more in-person events can resume. Here's why it's awesome. This initiative helps address the anxiety and FOMO students experience when dispersed from their friends and classmates. It also helps address challenges that some students may face under normal circumstances when connecting across Sloan. A clear social plan will give students structure to create new connections throughout the semester. Old and new rites of passages will ensure Sloan traditions continue to be passed down and new events are incorporated as part of an intentional social plan. You should vote for our idea because building social connections is one of the most important aspects of life at Sloan. Incoming students will be under increased social pressure in the fall, and our snowball approach provides a roadmap to recreate and foster social connections across one Sloan. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Would love to take questions now.
Oh, Dave?
Yeah, I like the idea, and it feels to me like it could connect with Team 5 a little bit. I'm not trying to express a preference for one or the other approach, but there are a number of ways to foster stronger community building, and you know, I think there's a fair amount of ability to mix and match among these, and I hope we can do some of that.
Yeah, thank you. We envision this to be one type of structure with a number of other, clubs and informal events, but, providing some guidance, sort of like not guidance, but, a pathway for socializing is what we're looking for.
Cool.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you, Team 8. All right, we're gonna move on to Team 9. I think Sam was presenting from Team 9.
That's right. Hey everyone, so Josh, Palash, myself, and Ado worked together to come up with the idea of a Sloan Virtual Conference Center of Excellence. When I was considering MBA programs, I was really excited to consider Sloan because I saw that the school put on top-notch conferences featuring some of the biggest names that you could possibly think of, including Barack Obama. When I got here, I saw even more exciting events such as the 100K pitch competition that happens throughout the year. And I learned from being involved in these conferences that we've developed a tried and true playbook to put on incredible conferences that are educationally beneficial and attract top-notch guests. But as we transition to this virtual experience, there's a severe danger that we could lose all of that. We can have unprofessional events due to lagging bandwidth, an inability to attract sponsorship dollars due to smaller audiences, and a key loss in one of the most important developmental opportunities that we have at Sloan. And so we would like to invest in a center of excellence, which includes investment in hardware and software, such as Wi-Fi hotspots and cameras that we could send to speakers so they could produce more professional panel engagements, collaboration with our communications professors on best practices for the virtual environment, and playbooks developed amongst the conference leaders to make sure that we're learning from one another throughout the semester. This will be a collaboration between students and also the administration, and we think that this is a critical aspect of our experience at MIT Sloan for ourselves, for the brand, and we hope that we can move this forward.
Thank you, Sam.
Can I just, this is Dave again, embrace this idea also. I met earlier today with the Asia Business Conference folks heading into next year who are reaching out to try to source some of those best practices and ideas. I know there's both a lot of enthusiasm and energy, but also anxiety among the clubs that run conferences and so on. And so I think this is very timely and it's important that we support them. Thank you.
Thanks.
Rodrigo?
Just want to share what Dave just said. I think this is very important. Actually, as you're saying this, I was thinking from the faculty's perspective, and I think we need the same thing, like top-notch technology for the classroom experience, There will be a lot of duplication, moving to a new path that faculty is at unease, and I think just having the right technology in place, I can see the same thing for the clubs and the conference. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam, and thank you, Team 9. All right, we've got
10. I believe Evan is presenting.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Evan Hamilton, and along with Ames, Della, Erica, and Jerry, we set out to help admissions find ways to engage current students as well as prospective students. As has been mentioned so far in this pitch, the most powerful part of MIT is not the classrooms in E62 or the free coffee in Martin Trust Center, but it's the community that we are able to build with each other. So what we're looking to do is a platform called Sloanies Helping Sloanies. And in this platform, as you can see on your screen, a person will be able to register their own profile based off of their interests and then connect with Sloanies that are currently in school. But the way that this currently exists is through a very informal ad hoc WhatsApp network of, I have a prospective student who's interested in program management, who's also looking to spread into tech in San Francisco. This takes out all the pain from that process. But the part of this that is really exciting is that it continues to grow and specialize. So not only are current students able to meet with prospectives and answer questions, but current students are also able to meet with each other in ways that we've done with Slack's Donut, but then also push that out to the connection with our alumni community that we have in Infinite Connection already. So in the truest spirit of a hack, we want to utilize the tools that are already in place for students and expand upon those ideas. We identified Lunch Club AI as a company that is early stage company that is now growing, that we could tailor their program onto ours. Further, the aspect of this that is exciting is that you can specialize into your needs, be it just within your current year, but also across SFMBAs, EMBAs, even the larger MIT community in the sense of pitch to match or when you're out there in the real world. So thank you for your time. Happy to answer any questions folks have.
Donna?
Yeah, so I think this is great, and I think this is great, virtual or not. I think it's a need, as you all know. When you're thinking about coming to Sloan, you want to talk to people, and this is providing a framework for prospects to be able to do that. So I think it's terrific.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. One thing that I just wanted to add, because also we want to have some pre-recording, so having fireside chats to highlight some of the conversations per Dean Schmidtline's class, CEO, Corporations at the Crossroads, highlighting some of those potential alumni that we can connect with. Done.
Great, amazing. Thank you so much. We have 2 more teams left. We are going to move on next to Team 11. And I believe Felipe was going to present from this group.
Yeah, hi guys, Felipe here. We are Team 11. It was me, Zara, Ben, Phil, and Ya. Our group set out to reimagine the grad school application process from the perspective of applicants in a virtual or blended environment. So our solution is called Future Sloanies. Is a series of products that can improve the access prospective students have to Sloan, including the expansion of the ambassador program, bi-weekly newsletter, Instagram story, Ask Me Anything, Zoom coffee chats with students, alumni, and open virtual class visits. The scheduled products like Zoom coffee chats would be built directly into the admissions website to allow for easy signups. And it's awesome because prospective students sometimes are unable to travel to Sloan, and with that, they can go closely and engage with Sloanies before become one. And the flexibility provided by virtual tools will allow Sloanies and alums more time to engage with prospective students, helping grow brand awareness and increasing the total number of applications. So I think you should guys vote for our idea because it will increase the quantity, the quality, and the diversity of applicants to Sloan, and will lead to the strengthening of our community and the MIT Sloan brand. So I'm more than happy to answer any of the questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Felipe.
Yeah, I guess, if I could just add that I think one of the things we know very well about applications and applicants is that the better they are able to sample and come close to our community, the more that they like us. That's not true for every school, but it is true for this school. And so I think any of the approaches that give people a sense of the real Sloan is really great. And I see this is working in that direction. Thanks.
And adding on your thought, we should leverage the virtual experience in the times like this and build up these products to engage the applicants.
Awesome. Do we have any last questions before we move on to our last team for the night? All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Felipe and Team 11. Next up, we've got Team 12, and I think Avi is presenting for Team 12, if I remember correctly.
Hi, everyone. We are Sumit, Andrea, John, Ignacio, Jenna, and myself, Avi, and we are here to present Career Central 2.0, a next generation recruiting platform for the COVID-19 era. Career Central 2.0 will provide virtual engagement between students and employers to facilitate recruiting. We believe that our platform will increase the efficient use of CDO resources and bring students a broad set of opportunities. The current consensus is that traditional Sloan recruiters will offer fewer opportunities, and the networking events of the pre-COVID world will be hard to come by. So Career Central 2.0 will provide the CDO with an easier pathway to bring in new recruiters while empowering students to engage virtually with potential employers. So here's how it works. Incoming and current Sloanies will be asked to provide 2 items. 1, the answer to a survey about which firms they wish to recruit for, similar to what's available right now, and 2, a 30-second video resume. This information will then be linked to each student's Career Central profile and will be available to the CDO and recruiters. And armed with these resources, the CDO can efficiently target employers not currently offering opportunities on Career Central and provide them with the best marketing material Sloan has to offer, a 30-second glimpse into the value of several matching Sloan students. So a few reasons why we think this is awesome. First, it sets Sloans apart. It's the only type of platform that would be available to MBA students and the broader Sloan community. Number 2, provides a glimpse of the intangible strengths of Sloan students. And similarly, number 3, it allows employers and the CDO to expand beyond traditional barriers to bring a seamless transition from students' presence on paper to their presence in 3-dimensional space. And lastly, it offers the opportunity to learn how to engage within a virtual video format, which COVID or no COVID is going to be a way of the future. So we believe that you should vote for our idea because there's no better way to engage with employers than with our smiling faces. And with that, I'll open up to questions.
Thank you, Avi. Thank you, Team 12. Dean Cohen? We can't hear you. You need to unmute yourself. Thank you.
Thanks, Avi. I think it's a great idea. As you said, this is clearly going to be the future. We already know that many companies are moving to just virtual recruiting, COVID or no COVID, as you said. So to start to move towards this, I think makes a lot of sense. And I know that Mark and our ER&R team would love this.
Thank you.
We would indeed.
Great, awesome. Do we have any last comments? Okay, amazing. Matt will tell us how to vote, and voting is going to be open for the next 24 hours, so folks won't know who's won until tomorrow, but take it away, Matt.
Awesome. Well, right before we get there, I just want to say thank you everyone for attending. We had 110 participants tonight across students, faculty, and administrators, and it's really heartwarming after what was very much a difficult semester for many students to have so many people come together to engage on these different ideas. I just want to reiterate, as we've told our attendants, this is step one of many, many steps, and not necessarily step one. There are many steps before this in terms of the planning for fall 2020. So we really appreciate everyone's engagement over the past 24 hours and are so encouraged to be working with everyone moving forward to really make the fall and the future great for everyone. And on that note, I will post a link. It's the same link that is on the slide right now to vote for your favorite team idea. Obviously, these ideas very much build on each other, but we definitely want to reward some of our creativity with some mystery prizes. Also, just so people know, we have recorded this presentation and we'll share materials and ideas to continue the discussion, and can definitely let you know, along with Sloan Senate, what are some of the next steps from these great ideas to make them a reality come this fall.
And thank you so much for all of the administrators who engaged with us throughout this process. I think for the fall, we all really need to work together, and it's been really exciting to see this collaboration between all our incredible students, Senate, and administrators and faculty. So thank you all so very much. Right. Would any of the administrators like to offer some closing comments before we say goodnight to each other for the night?
You know, if I could, Rihanna and Matt, I just would like to thank the two of you, thank all the teams, thank all the staff who have worked with you to put this evening together. You all made me right, and I love to be right. I said at the outset that right now all ideas are good ideas, and they really were good ideas. Thank you for them.
Thank you all so much. If everybody can smile for a second, I'm gonna go through and take a quick photo. All right.
So do a virtual selfie.
It's gonna be like 5 photos, so just like bear with me.
Cheese. Sloan.
All right, amazing. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful night, and don't forget to tell your friends to vote. Everything will be on Slack. Good night, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Matt, great job. Thank you so much.
And I just want to
That's
add my
awesome.
thanks. And, I was pretty quiet, but I was chatting on the chat. We'll be here and look forward to partnering with you guys on pretty much all of these except the CDO ones. So thanks for all the creative spirit and energy. It's fabulous.
Awesome. Looking forward to the collaboration.
And speaking of the CDO ones, we'd love to have you reach out and talk to us about those. But there's some great ideas there. So
yeah, we're going to send all of the ideas and all of the decks and all of the people who worked on them. So you should be
awesome.
able to
That's great.
move forward.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
We stayed on time, man. We really stayed on time.
Amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Are we still recording?
I will stop recording.